Thank you very much, guys. We really appreciate your time tonight and the opportunity to speak to all of you about, I guess, a little bit about who we are, what we do, and a bit of our product range as well. So just jumping straight into it. Who are we? So EV Moto SA was an idea that came about December 2020. Peter Altman, who owned the Southgate Automotive Group at the time, we just heard about the launch of the new electric Mazda vehicle that had we literally got a brief from Mazda. We sat down in a room and Peter Altman turned around and said, there is electric was already well and truly here at this stage, but there is a real gap that we can see that I guess, ways that we can look at sustainability, ways that we can look at other options in the market. And together we spent probably 6 months doing a lot of research around where those holes are, not only in our market, but potentially Australia-wide. What do we do? You probably, if you haven't already seen the sign behind, we've got a range of products. So we obviously have electric scooters, electric motorbikes, golf carts, obviously being electric, and commercial carts being electric as well. So we've sort of covered a lot of areas where, specifically in the kart range, less so in the golf cart range, but very much in the commercial kart range where there is still heavy petrol and diesel carts going around. We've certainly come in with another option, a more sustainable option for companies to use, and they already well and truly have. Who do we work with? A part of obviously the investigation when we first created this business was brands that are very like-minded. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen on the Alibabas and those sort of ones, there's electric vehicles you could jump on now and grab one for $1,000 and it comes straight to your door. We really wanted to partner with like-minded businesses on a quality product, but also ones that have the same goal that we do. One being is one that we brought out, which Josh will go through a little bit later in a product focus, but Benzina are two Australian guys in Queensland, and I'll touch on their brand a little bit later, but one of the big things that they do is a sale out of every bike they do nationally when they send it to the dealer goes towards sustainability of the battery. So destroying the battery and obviously bringing the battery in. So there's a lot of programs they run around, not only just a quick fix to get a bike out, there's a lot of programs they run to look at the long-term vision of this and not just in 20 years we're stuck with all these batteries or anything either. So they've got a program that they use. There's a lot of other stuff which I'll touch on that they do, but one of the things that we want to do obviously with our work is partner with like-minded businesses. As a whole, summary, like we said, we obviously on top of the carts and the bikes and the accessories, motorbike helmets and everything as well, we also do servicing. So we service electric vehicles, a lot of other brand of bikes, your Braps and your Surons and all those sort of ones we service. We've got a hand of techs as well, which fortunately we're backed as well, which I'll touch on shortly. Lastly, with us, we are obviously not just EV Moto SA. We're part of a much bigger pie than that. We are, again, Southgate Automotive Group. So we have Ranella Mazda, Southern Volkswagen, Southgate LDV, Southgate GWM, Southgate Haval, Southgate Used Cars, and obviously EV Moto SA. So we've got a fantastic backing in terms of we use technicians and workshops that are of a Mazda quality. Touching first, I'll walk through some of our range of carts. So just a real brief features. I won't run through everything, but obviously all electric. The 4 kilowatt AC electric side of the carts is one of the biggest features we've got. Is probably with golf. Not sure if there's many golfers in here, but hills for our carts are not an issue. They go up. I mean, we've tested almost a 45% incline, and they fly up them. So our carts are built significantly well. I'll show you a little bit later the range that we have. Suspension and brakes, car-like quality. Again, I'll touch on the exact features of those with the individual carts, but the quality of the carts that are built are fantastic. Safety hazard lights optional, automatic braking is standard, little to no maintenance. So they come standard with the gel. Some of our carts come standard with the gel self-maintenance batteries. The other half come with the lithium batteries as well. So I'll touch on those individually. Plus also a fantastic warranty. So 5 years chassis, 3 years electrical and mechanical, and 2 years on the gel batteries, 5 years on the lithium. Again, just a little bit on our carts. Carts are used all over Australia already, from wineries to mines to resorts. So we're working with AGL locally here. We've sold a number of carts through to those guys. We work with Flinders University, a couple of the other universities, plus obviously a lot of the mines as well have transitioned from probably more your diesel carts that a lot of money they spend on repairs and maintenance and work on the engines. They've purchased big fleets of vehicles, which we always use when people come in and sort of say, oh, what's the quality of your cars like? I mean, these guys, you can imagine in the mines, they throw these things around like you wouldn't believe. So never had an issue with those. Most of those have been out for a year plus. So they give them a real good testing and send us lots of photos. Starting with our first range of carts of Evolution electric vehicles. So Evolution engaged in the R&D and manufacturer and sales of electric vehicles, and is currently the world's leading manufacturer of fleet golf carts, personal, commercial, and utility vehicles. Evolution is the standard for premium luxury carts. They come in the D3, which I'll show you guys shortly, is the premium car, which is the 4-seater. That's 2 front, 2 rear passengers. The one that we're just about to arrive is the D5, which is the premium car, which is a 4-seater, but they're all 4 front facing. And the D5 premium car 6-seater, which is all 6 front facing. This is the Evolution D3. So this one, again, is your luxury car, but some of the features, obviously, that run through there, power steering, electric esky underneath the passenger seat, which plugs directly into the battery there, touchscreen pad, reverse camera, leather seats, speakers, Bluetooth sound system all installed in the roof. It's a really, really cool, it's one of those carts that you really got to see. It gets a lot, whenever we're sort of out and about, it gets a lot of eyeballs. But a really, really cool cart there, which is the 4-seat premium car. Then we've got the Evolution. Sorry, guys. Then we've got the Evolution D5, which I mentioned, it's the 4 front facing versus the 2 front, 2 rear. Similar features, but I will touch on this one a little bit more. Coming late April, and I know probably a little bit hard for you guys to read there, but this one comes with another whole set of features. Storage in the back of the passenger seats, storage at the back. There's adjustable seating, again, Bluetooth, you can connect as a passenger, heated seats, air conditioning vents. It's a really cool car. So, so that's arriving early April. So in terms of resorts, has been, before we've even received these, we've had massive orders through resorts, because from the price point, they're certainly not what some of the, I guess, petrol versions are in resorts at the moment. They're, as we all know, quiet, very easy to run, little to no maintenance. They're just a fantastic alternative at a really attractive price point. LV Tong, which is the last line of our carts. LV Tong's the #1 selling cart in the USA with over 600,000 units per year sold. So the LV Tong's rebranded in America, for those that do follow golf, as the E-car. So it's the exact same unit, just the different brand that we get over in Australia. LV Tong's obviously got a fantastic range of carts. And what we love about that is it covers so many industries, from golf to commercial to resorts, everything in between. They come as a whole package ready to go. The features they actually have, we can register them on the road. It's a very stringent process. Obviously, as an automotive dealer, we've got as good a relationship as you can have with EasyReg, but we work very closely with the carts as well, providing on location how close you are to the course or your destination. There are ways you can get these registered on the road. So they come packed with, obviously, indicators, hazard lights, horns, seat belts, every feature that needed to reach that. Obviously, it is very particular in terms of what you can and can't get registered. There's a whole bunch of back-end rules, but we have managed to get a few, especially commercial carts for sites and stuff, very easy. People that live across the road from a golf course is another pretty easy one, but then when you have to travel any more distance than sort of 100, 200 meters, it becomes a little bit more difficult, as you can imagine. Again, won't go through individually, but the LV Tong range, as you can see here, you've got your 2-seat golf cart here, which again, very standard, comes with all the features you could possibly want. The top here is your 4 seats. You've got 2 front facing, 2 rear. That also, the back seats will double up as storage, so you can fold them over and they become a storage compartment there. You've got your 6-seater in the top right-hand corner, and your 8-seater bottom left-hand corner. A couple of notable mentions that we didn't put on here as well, which is just not what we're stocking at the moment. Medical cart, which is on there, which again, sport clubs and anyone that requires that. But we also have things like linen carts and storage carts as well that are in stock at the moment. So again, LV Tong's a fantastic brand, very versatile. Some of their commercial carts that we've in stock, so the LV Tong short wheelbase, which is really popular for the mines at the moment, a lot of those sort of ones. Again, same vehicle, it's just a different structure. 250 kilo payload in the back with 750 kilo towing, unbraked. And the long wheelbase ute, so that's a hydraulic tip tray, 500 kilo payload with a 750 kilo towing, unbraked. Really, for the mines, but wineries, these have been really popular. Also, a lot of properties. We get a lot of sort of families just come in, grab them, a long wheelbase or a short base just for their property to run around on. Like we said, it's a very easy conversation when they say, oh, we've got a very rocky property or very hilly. These things just handle anything. Like I said, the mines, we've got vision of these things going up hills like this and over cliffs, and it's just, so they're very, very versatile when they can fit nearly any terrain. The LV Tong linen storage cart, and that is the rest of our vehicles. So now we jump into the scooters, motorcycles, and mopeds version, which is the other half of our business, which again is probably one of our most popular in terms of vehicles sold. Features of our bikes, and it's probably the hardest thing when we first launched this is, what do you call them? Because it's the hardest thing. When you say scooter, people think the stand-on scooters. When you say electric bike, they think of the push bike with the electric motor on it. So we probably spent close to 12 months actually figuring out what do we call them to talk to people about. Because you talk to someone about a scooter, they think, oh no, those things are illegal. You're not exactly like you mentioned earlier. So which we can also get those in. And if you do need, we've got some really good data from Queensland. We import them directly out of there. So if you have anything you guys need, feel free to reach out. But yeah, so the biggest challenge we had is, what do we call them? So electric scooter bike sort of floating around a little bit. It paints a bit more of a picture, but it's still in the abyss of what do you actually call these things? So jumping through. So mentioning to a couple of gentlemen earlier. So one of the big things we looked at when we launched this business of touching as many areas as possible. And I know a gentleman at the back there highlighted one of our biggest problems was people that have to regularly get their motorbike license in fear of losing their driver's license, which is a very common thing over a certain age and certain situations. We offer pretty much 50-60% of our range is driver's license. So all you need is your SA driver's license and you're able to jump on one of these and drive. When you sort of go over 55, 60 kilometers, you'll have to obviously have a motorbike license. So we also have a range that you can manipulate to both. So if you start off with your driver's license and then get your motorbike license, it only takes a small controller that we do. You can convert it as well. So bit of a summary of our stock there. Multi-brand, as everyone knows, obviously electric torque that you've got there, ranging from 1200 watts to 400 watt motors, and warranties range from 12 to 24 months depending on the brand, and some world-leading technology that we use as well coming out of all parts of the world. First one is the Benzina Zero, which you see in front of you. They use the Bosch hub motor and an LG Samsung lithium battery. They also come with 24-month warranties. A fantastic company, Benzina Zero. First one in their range is the Benzina Zero City, so very much a moped style. So a super popular one in the range. That is a SA driver's license, 50 kilometers per hour top speed. Fits you under a SA driver's license with an 85 kilometer range on a single charge, and it's a 1200 watt rating with that one. So a really good bike. It's a really good one that we recommend to people that are just looking to get to an A to B type situation, going to the shops, going for just a casual drive. Really fun bike. The next one is the Benzina Zero Duo, which you see in front of you there. That one is a 50 kilometer an hour restriction. It has a 110 kilometer range with a 1200 watt rating. Now, the really cool thing about the Benzina Zero Duo and Duo Plus, which I'll touch on, is they're so versatile. So I won't move because obviously you may not hear me on the stream, but essentially, as you can see here, we've got a delivery refrigerator box attached to them. The front, you can sort of see on there's little Allen key screws that basically pop in and out. Their accessories, they've got a range of over sort of 20 odd accessories, from baskets to cargo carriers to everything. So the great thing about this bike is you customize it to your needs. If it's got a surfboard holder, if you want to go out for a surf, it's got it's actually got a baby seat at the back there, or a young child seat at the back there as well. So depending on your situation, you may, go into the shops, chuck a basket on the front, out to the shops. Going surfing, you throw your surfboard rack on there. Going carrying some cold meat to a friend's house, you throw the refrigerated thing on there. So there's a number of things you can customize these bikes to, and they're a really, really versatile bike. So it's in our range of bikes. It's probably, when people say they want a bit of everything, this is probably the all-rounder. The next one is, your eyes are not seeing things. It is almost an identical version. That's the Benzina Zero Duo Plus. So the only difference is it requires a motorbike license. So it'll do about 15 Ks quicker. So it's about 65 to 70 Ks that one will do. It has a 100 kilometer range, so slightly less range, with a 1500 watt rating. Again, it is, to look at it, you take the badge off, it would be identical. It's just obviously a little bit stronger motor, and all these bikes that are driver's license driven are restricted anyway. So it's just playing around with that restrictor to do those speeds, but obviously will require a motorbike license. Lastly is the Benzina Zero Sport. So probably a little bit more traditional of your sort of spruced up moped. That will do 85 to 90 Ks an hour with a 90 kilometer range, 3000 watt rating, and that's got a dual LG Samsung lithium battery on that one. Next is the EMOS. So various batteries, various motors on those ones. A little bit harder to see, but the EMOS range is very much more your Harley type style. So there's some really choppers, Harleys. There's some really cool versions in there as well. So the first one at the top there is your Wild RRR. Which will do 50 kilometers or 85 kilometers, depending on, obviously, if you have a driver's license or a motorbike license. So these ones will, with this one, it's a very simple, almost like a bit of a process you have to do, but that you can basically turn it from a 50 kilometer to an 85 kilometer. Next one is a similar style. This one's called the Wild Thing. 50 kilometer an hour speed and a 60 kilometer range on that one. Again, a really good a really big eye turner. This has probably been one of our biggest sellers, and it's so funny because people will come back and they'll say, parked at the shops, I had all these bikers come up to me asking me why it didn't make any noise, and I had to tell them all about it. So it is, again, looking at it cosmetically, I mean, it's not trying to be the Harley, it certainly isn't, but it's an alternative that's a really good cruising bike. It's a really fun bike, and you can take it on drives, it's a real fun bike. Next is the iTank. So very big to styles and very big with EMOS in Germany and a couple of the European countries is the three-wheelers. I'm not sure if you can see that from that side, but the three-wheelers. Again, iTank's been quite popular in our range, so it's an 85 kilometer speed limit, which will require a motorbike license, and a 60 kilometer range on that one as well. So that again does have dual batteries, a really, really powerful one in the iTank. And lastly is the Wild G. So again, probably a toned down version of the top two, 50 kilometer per hour speed, top speed there with a 60k range. The Wild G basically stands for the G is golf. So it can have a conversion that can basically put the clubs on as well. So for people that can't store carts or can't afford to get a trailer and bring the cart down, this is an alternative, because all you really need to store at the club or bring in your trailer, a tray of your car or something, is literally just the attachment where it puts your clubs on. And these are golf course permitted. A little bit of a wider tyre, so all over in Queensland they've been approved on golf courses. Last is the Horwin, which is compared to a lot of our other range, the Horwin is something a little bit special, and Josh will touch on this one a little bit more in the product focus, but this one is really cool. This is, again, motorbike license driven. This one will do 95 Ks an hour, and it's got just under 100k range. This thing flies, and I'll leave it to Josh to give you guys a bit more of an overview, but this really takes off. I think when our managing director first got this, he's quite into his bikes. He was used to some of the sort of the torquey starts, but he jumped on this and he burnt a hole in our carpet, didn't he, Josh? He burnt a hole in our carpet. So, and he's the one paying the bill, so that's okay. But this thing is incredible. It's and I won't take away Josh's thunder, but built a little bit different to the other electric vehicles we've got. Versing a hub motor, this uses more of the chain, and yeah, it certainly has the power. Lastly is VEA. Again, various motors, various batteries, 12-month warranty. This is where we step into a little bit more motorcycle type stuff. So the first one in their range is that scooter type bike, and probably, to be honest with you, our most popular. A very cheap price point. You're looking at sort of starting from sort of anywhere from sort of 2,500 drive away, depending on obviously what sales we've got on there. But a really cool, fun, easy bike. It's just on and off, no maintenance, barring servicing schedule sort of once a year. It's just a really fun, easy bike. So that's their entry level in their range. We'll do 50 kilometers an hour. We've found it's more like 53 with their setting, and a 60k range on that one. But a really good one, Esplanade driving up. We're based at Ranella, so we get a lot of people Esplanade driving or just nipping to the shops. Next is the Hurricane. So the VEA Hurricane has a top speed of 120 kilometers per hour with a 200 kilometer range. Has really been, it was amazing when it hit our shores. It's actually going through the next shipment that was due, well, it came in last year, has gone through a brake upgrade and now going through the process with the Australian road standards. So we should be receiving this in the next month, as well as its brother, the Z8. Again, 120 kilometers speed limit with a 200 kilometer range. It really, they're sort of the benchmark in terms of people wanting that I guess that motorcycle feel, but obviously not at that price point. It's a much cheaper price point and a much more cost-effective bike as well to run. I'll pass over to Josh, who'll just run through this bike with you guys and a little bit on the Hallman as well. Do that one now, mate. Just tap that one there. And I think you've got to attach this one or hold this one.
Nice. Sweet. I'm guessing this is for everyone online, so hello, if we're connected. No, we're not connected. Oh, that's right. Okay, awesome. No worries, guys. So thank you, Matt. As you guys can see right in front of me, I've done a little bit of a party trick. The Benzina Zeros, as you know, all electric, but if this was a regular motorbike, I guess this room would be filled with emissions right now because it's been on this whole time. Great thing about these bikes as well, you know, and something that a lot of ex-motorbike riders that are used to the kind of the noisy combustible engine between their legs, is that you turn the key and obviously it doesn't make a noise. On top of that as well, with the Benzina, you've probably already seen, but it's designed for everyone. So, you know, from your urban commuters, sorry, I'll try and stay in front of the microphone so everyone can hear me. From your urban commuters to your beachgoers and obviously your delivery drivers as well, everybody can use these. A bit different from your usual kind of scooter, Vespa style motorbike or scooter. This actually has the option of pegs on the side. So if you're a bit wide set like myself, you'd find that you get kind of cramped fitting in one of those Vespas because you've got the wall there. This obviously has the option to put your feet up, but those pegs I personally really rate because it is suited for everyone. As Matt touched on before, you've got your name brand components in this bike, being your Bosch motor, your LG Samsung battery cells. Kind of getting, I've been in electric since 2013, started overseas in USA in San Fran. So coming into Australia, a lot of people, as Matt said, are buying kind of your cheap no-name brands off Alibaba and all these Chinese websites. And that's basically giving kind of a bad name to motorbikes over here. So for them to kind of put in name brand components kind of gives you that spur of authenticity. But on top of that, as Matt mentioned, the Benzina guys, they are true to their word. They are focusing on sustainability with not just the bikes and their products, but the afterthought as well, making sure batteries are going to the right places. Now,
touching on some of the features of this wonderful bike that we've brought, is the customization is incredible. You know, we've seen products come through our doors like the EMOSs that are aesthetically great. They're really nice to look at. And for your ex-Harley riders, they love them. These are made for the people. As you can see behind me here, from delivery boxes to surfboard holders over there, and even your pizza ovens, or whatever you can kind of think up. Both Benzina and ourselves are more than capable of kind of suiting whatever you're kind of dreaming of onto the bike. A big kind of eye catcher at our store at the moment is the surfboard holder. A lot of people come in and go, "Oh, I think I might want to start surfing now," because it really does. It takes the cake in terms of I guess aesthetics. Now, sorry, running through the features. This particular bike, charging wise, you're looking at around 5 to 6 hours for a full charge. But the great thing is, you don't need an EV charger. You just go straight into your socket in your wall. So, you know, if you stopped at a fast food restaurant or anything like that, they let you have an extension lead on you, you can charge it there as well. So it's very adaptable from where you want to charge, but also it has a removable battery. So if you did want to park the bike outside, remove the battery and charge it where you would like. In terms of, and I'll just step over here, sorry guys. And in terms of kind of functions, they've kind of thought about it already with just a simple shopping bag hook here and another one at the front there. Coming around the side as well, you'll see the 2 stands. So this is more for your long standing, you know, you've parked it overnight, you've gotten up and you won't touch it till the morning. That way it won't move. And there is also an option for the kickstand as well. A fun little party trick, and I'll just try and put this on. A lot of people say to me, okay, you know, these are great, but it being 76, 75 kilos, super lightweight, people think that, yeah, you can just pick them up and do as you please, even if it's locked. So one thing that I show people is, even when the bike is locked and it's off, you have the bike locked, sorry. You try and move it, and it's going to make it really hard. And it's going to straighten out. That will continue until it has been unlocked. So if someone finds that, you know, pick it up, take it away, good luck to them. Basically, got a police siren that entire time. So,
he's moving.
Coming back around onto the rear here, you've got hydraulic brakes with full lead system. Everything from, I don't want to blind the people, but see, light and your spotlights as well. You've got, there they are, and also your flashes as well. So it being a road legal bike, everything from obviously side mirrors to indicators is necessary, but also they've kind of thought about it in the rest respect of where you rest your hand. So you're not, you know, reaching over to turn a blinker. Sorry, I'll just get my notes back up. So another great thing about this bike, yes, it's only 76 kilos. Oh, sorry, 86 kilos. Oh, took 10 off. I should do that to myself. It actually can hold up to 192 kilos, being the person riding it. So, you know, I'm 100 kilo myself. I could chuck another, you know, leg of lamb on the back, being my Greek, my Greek heritage, and off to the shops I go. So the versatility of how much you can actually put on this bike with all the customization and that, no problem at all because of that high capacity of weight range. Where it really comes into its own, I guess, is as a commuter. You know, we've seen everyone from students up to, you know, your retirees look at this bike and it be the right fit for them. mainly because of the ease of use. It really is plug and go. Sorry, plug out and go. And that in general has really caught the eye of a lot of the public in SA and out of state as well. Going through specifications, which Matt already has, it has got a restricted limit of 50 k's an hour, being that you can ride it on a car license with a range of 110 kilometers. Sorry. The lithium battery on this one is a 60 volt, 42 amp hour. So plenty of power in that battery, plenty of charge, as you can see from the 110 kilometers. And yet going through the front and hydraulic brakes as well, you got plenty of stopping power. So in summary, this is the commuter's dream, but it is made to fit everyone else. Awesome. So any other questions and stuff about the, yes. No, this one does not, unfortunately. Yes, it has been a common question with these bikes, and funnily enough, the bike I'm about to talk about is the only one in our storeroom that has it. So thanks for the segue, sir. If it wants to work. So this is the Horwin EK3, and Matt touched on it a little bit before, but this is the way forward for electric motorbikes. I don't really know how to do it. There it is. So in the back there, as you've probably seen on not just this motorbike here, but the scooters in the city, generally you see hub motors. This is chain driven like a normal motorbike. So everything from, servicing up to, just kind of the longevity of the motor is almost quadrupled because of that engineering. And Horman has really, really thought about what they're going to do with this new style of Vespa electric scooter. Obviously, you can see it is more of your, like I said, your Vespa, the traditional scooter, but that does not mean it's old in any type of way. This by far is one of the most technologically advanced scooters that we have. And on top of that, like the LED lights and anti-theft alarm system that all this one has, they've gone kind of above and beyond. So one of the systems that is equipped to this bike is called CBS. This CBS, basically a combined braking system, distributes the braking force between both the front and the rear brakes. So, in case of emergency, it's not going to do the ABS shutter. It will basically have that safe braking at high speeds. And I'll get into those speeds in a little bit, but the CBS and that kind of systematic braking has really kind of brought this bike into its own. Not putting anything down on the Duos or the other EMOSs, but basically, this is meant for highway speeds, meant for, your longer commutes. Coming back into the speeds, this will do 0 to 60 kilometers an hour in just 6 seconds. So it is rapid quick. Obviously, you guys know about electric torque and, the hype around them, but to be on something kind of as nimble as this and experience that acceleration is quite, it's quite mind-blowing. On top of that as well, you've got your 100-kilometer range on top of, like I said before, your 6.2 kilowatts on your motor. As I touched on before, the chain drive system is basically maintenance friendly and continues to kind of progress the e-scooter community. I really am passionate about electrics, if you can't tell, and I really do think that this type of motorbike system is the future for us. Along with USB on board. And sorry, that's something I didn't touch on the Duo. It actually has a USB charger in the front there as well. More than happy for you guys to come and touch and feel at the end of the meeting. But yeah, like the main thing with the Horwin is the kind of enhanced, I guess you could say, systems that they've put in place with the braking system and the chain drive. It also has a huge, where am I? A huge LED. Oh, stop. A huge LED display here all the way to the side and around the back here. So even during daytime, you're going to be super visible to all the cars. The motor on this one, 6,200 watts, the biggest one that we have in the showroom, with a 72 volt, 36 amp hour battery on that one. Now, the weight of this one being under 100 kilos, sitting at 95, does really, really well. You can actually put up to 300 kilos on this bike, and it will still do, you know, that top speed of 95 kilometers an hour. So like I kind of touched on before, it is made for your longer commutes and for your highway speeds. And that's me done, guys. Thank you very much for listening.
Just lastly, and then we're done. We can let you guys. Thank you.
Stole the mic.
We'll get back up there. I'll just hold this to save some time. Just wanted to give you guys a bit of an insight in terms of quickly just some stuff that's coming for us. So products this year, we've got a few. They're called the KFN F80s. They're massive in the US, and we are slowly getting them over here as well. So more of a dirt bike sort of feel. 100-kilometer range, 85 kilometers per hour top speed. 8,000 watt maximum power rated power, 2 hour for a full charge, and it's 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. Just a quick one lastly. Obviously, thank you all for sitting through our long presentation and seeing our range. We just wanted to obviously start that relationship with you guys as well, and more than happy to offer a special offer for members, obviously around the country, but anyone listening, but specifically for you guys in the room here. So we'll offer a $500 off any RRP of electric bike in our range in stock, or $1,000 off any car. The code word we'll use there, and that will be valid for a month. And that is everything, guys. So thank you so much for listening, and we really appreciate it. And yeah, we would love to have you guys in the store, even if you just wanted to come in and check out the range. We'd love to see your smiling faces. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
I'm standing there for a moment. Both
Sure.
of you, there might be some questions.
Of course. I might quickly, otherwise I'll get slapped on the hand from my managing director. Our other brands with electric vehicles coming. LD, I'm sure he'll watch this. LDV ET60 4x4 Ute is hitting our showroom. Well, we've been told for a while now, but we should be receiving that one very soon. And the MEF 7C People Mover. GWM, I'm pretty heavily involved with at the moment. The Aura hatch is arriving very shortly. There's obviously a big hybrid SUV range with that one as well, with the Tank 500 as well coming out. Mazda plug-in hybrid CX-60 is also released shortly, and there's also word we heard from Mazda a couple of weeks ago around the CX-90 also receiving a hybrid version. VDA Volkswagen 2024, there's going to be a huge range. So we signed a non-disclosure agreement a couple of weeks ago, but we saw the 2024 range. It is like you guys will never see. It's insane. There's a huge amount of Volkswagen vehicles coming in 2024. But I'm sure he'll watch this, so now I've ticked that box. Thank you very much, guys. If there's any questions. And just before any questions, we're certainly not electrical engineers. So anything specific, if we don't have the answer, we'll get you the answer.
Yes. Without making a fool of myself, I will try.
It is quite heavy. It is something that with these ones, because they've got such an amazing range on them, the battery is heavier. If you looked at some of the Calypso ones, the from the Vea range, their batteries, it's literally an unlock and it is so light. It's probably 7 kilos, 8 kilos. These ones are probably more like 20 to 25 kilos. So it's very simple to get out, but I probably wouldn't recommend. I say that Josh hasn't got it yet, but it's a heavy battery. Cost of these ones. So we've got those in the showroom at the moment for $4,250. Yep. Yeah, and that's excluding on roads, which the great thing as well, if no one's aware, with electric bikes, even the monster 120 kilometers an hour, you register it on a 50cc because there's nothing else that they require. So it's about $300 to fully register for 12 months.
I was going to say
It's certainly not light. I mean, I'd probably with my it's if you had to, it's not the end of the world. Like I said, the Bayers are really easy. They're about 7 kilos in and out, and they actually come with a second battery as well on some of them.
And the good thing being on that, being a big about stabilization of the slower center of gravity. So while you're on the road, it is actually more of I guess you're a comfortable ride than some of the other bikes that have kind of your stem. The batteries, yeah, correct.
But it's a great question because it's a common one. People will sort of say, "Well, how easy is it to do?" Like it's. We say it's easy. No, unless a super an emergency, like barring you grabbing your fuel can and running to the service station, that type of emergency. Like I said, it's not, but it is an emergency type scenario. Yeah, you can absolutely. Absolutely. Spot on. Yep. And it's a common one. We've had a couple of people that have done big ranges, or they just say that they sometimes just forget to charge it overnight. So a second one will give them peace of mind. So, yes, certainly can purchase a second battery of those. Yes. Well, let's go back. I'll just make sure I've got the right one that you're talking about. Oh, that red one?
That red one. That one is actually 3 to 4 hours. Yes. It has a dual battery setup instead. Yep.
And is that just charging?
A normal plug socket, correct?
Yep, not a fast charging.
All of our motorbikes do, yes.
The bike that can do 120 kilometers per hour.
Or the big Z8.
We've got 2 in that range.
Oh, yes.
What's the price of those two?
So at the moment, we've got our last pre-order from last year. We've got 2 remaining in the Hurricane and 1 in the Z8. So the price for those ones are off the top of my head, the Z8 is around 13, and the Hurricane is around 10. Off the top of my head, and that's obviously minus on roads.
The technical difference between those two what's the difference? I mean,
It is. Yeah, it's super minor. It's cosmetically, obviously, the naked ride versus the other side. There's a few, and I'm happy to send you through a bit of a breakdown of what it looks like, but there's a few minor differences in terms of cosmetically, in terms of screens, a little bit different. So the Z8's got a bit more tech in terms of the screen and the buttons and some of the functionality of it. It's the same motor, same battery, everything. Yep. So in terms of performance, no difference.
Our colleagues in the Northern Territory, a couple of questions. I think I've got to pull it up. This is for you, Hunter. You better appreciate it. Have you guys thought about a common size battery as in a standard across all of the industry?
It is one of the things that we don't manufacture these. We've been in numerous meetings and numerous corporate stuff around. We're even closer with the RAA, some of the stuff more recently, but I could not agree more. I mean, that is where this will go to the next level, where the swappable batteries and that sort of stuff will just reach a whole nother level. I was actually talking to a gentleman earlier where all of our range have all different batteries. Barring the benziners that run the same, you look at the 4 or 5 brands we hold, they're 4 or 5 different batteries. That's the reality of it right now, but obviously in the future, I think that is the way. That is the way moving forward. We see it in other countries as well, where there's swappable batteries at certain stations. I think that's the way moving forward, for sure.
Adding on that, sorry, even the benziners, the different models obviously have different battery capes, so they're not interchangeable. But going forward, personally, I'd like to see it just like the AA battery, and you can kind of just swap it out and put it in, and you can go down to your local shop and buy the exact same one. So I'm very much on board.
100%. Yeah. Fantastic. So, in terms of our three brands, all varying in parts, the Benzinas, I won't venture too much over here because you won't be able to hear me. We've seen it indirectly. So the Benzinas come just with the frame. It's literally just in the frame from China. Everything else internally is built and sourced here. So the battery, motor, everything else is built and sourced here. But the frame itself comes from China. They are a little bit different. They source from multiple countries. Their actually company is called Star 8. They're based in the Philippines. They run a lot of the solar buses, the technology that runs the solar buses over in the Philippines and some of those sort of countries as well. So they source parts from Asia as a whole. And the third brand with EMOS, that is Chinese frame, European technology. Queensland. So all built in Queensland. Funnily enough, all of our manufacturers are based in Queensland. So we do often trips over in Queensland, but they're all Australian guys that run and operate the companies. All predominantly, so we look at the Benzina Duos, they don't, but some of their range does. So the Sport does, the Duo and the City don't. The Vea Calypso doesn't, but the other two do. And the EMOS is their whole range has a reverse button.
You see it on the lighter bike, under the 9 kilograms that they normally don't put it in, just because obviously as being light and nimble as they are quite maneuverable. So I guess it's a bit of a cost saver as well.
The batteries and battery technology, there's a lot of talk about, I presume these are lithium ion.
Yep.
There's a lot of talk about solid state batteries coming in. Is there any, much about them?
Look, we haven't heard too much voice from the manufacturers. They're usually the first ones to turn around and say, this is what we propose, or this is where we're heading in the future. As it stands right now, we haven't had any more talk around that. Certainly hear the voices, but rarely from the manufacturers. It's more from probably the industry or the customers we see on a regular basis. So nothing to sort of update you on yet, but I think that's sort of potentially where it's, yeah.
Talk about it. So thank you very much. We hope you stay around for supper so that people can have a look at this and see how the battery is and what
Absolutely.
Certainly.
Well, token thank you for you, AEVA keyring.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Thank
for
you
having
very
us
much.
as well. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
And,
Thank you.
thank you so much. That was very interesting. Oh, the price of the cart. What do they range from?
So the carts range from 11,900 or 11,490 through to the premium D3 is 19,990. The Ute style ones, the short wheelbase is 14,490, and the long wheelbase is 17,490. So mainly the hydraulic tip tray is the big additional cost on that one, and it has a completely different base. So the short wheelbase operates off similar as the golf carts, whereas the long wheelbase is a whole nother structure.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.
Oh, one more question.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, can't really see it.
EV Moto SA.com.au.
Thanks, guys.